Maraming salamat po. Maupo tayo lahat. Thank you. Thank you. Miss Bennett Misalucha, Miss Maria Efetrata, our Filipino community in Hawaii, Secretary Albert Rosario, Ambassador Joey Quisha, Secretary Cesar Purisima, Secretary Greg Domingo, Rene Almendras, Edwin Lacerda, Ambassador Miguel Perez Rubio, Consul General Leoncio Cardenas, and of course the entire Philippine Consulate, its officers and staff. And don't worry, Consul General, I understand you'll be retiring by sometime the end of this month. I will follow you in 4 years and 7 months. Okay? Congresswoman Colleen Hanabusa, Congresswoman Maisie Hirono, of course, the always energetic Hawaii Governor Neil Abercrombie, honored guests, Mayor Peter Carlisle, Mayor Alan Arakawa, Mayor Bernard Carvalho Jr., Mayor Billy Kenoy, ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, mga minamahal ko pong kababayan. Palanding po ng Hawaii, sabi po sa akin, maraming Pilipinong FBI. I took it to mean that there were a lot of Filipinos in Hawaii who belong to the Federal Bureau of Investigation, only to find out that it referred to full-blooded Ilocano. I used to represent a district that was 3/4, at least in terms of area, Ilocano, and I tried to learn the language. Unfortunately, they had 3 versions in the 3 towns that were Ilocano predominant. Let me try to impart what I did learn. Naimbag nga rabi, kada kayo amin na po. Agyaman kami iti nabara, nga panang sanga ili, yo kada kami. Mukha ko bang tama? Agpaiso gayam iti, madamdamag ko nga agkara iwara, dagiti, nalalapsat nga kailian tayo dito'y Hawaii. Tama ho yun, di ba? Some of my critics at home have been very vocal lately, saying that I have been taking far too many foreign trips. In response, this is what I say to them. When I leave the country, it is always with the interests of the Filipino people in my mind. And much like my earlier foreign trips, 3 days can already be considered too long a time for me to be out of our country. The best part about visiting Hawaii, however, is I can clearly tell these critics, when has going to Hawaii been considered a foreign trip? Some of my advisors have even opined, is going to Ilocos considered a foreign trip? In fact, now that I'm here, even if we haven't boarded the plane headed back to the Philippines, I can already say it feels definitely good to be home. Even if one would consider me new to these types of gatherings, meaning foreign trips, it warms my heart to see just how well supported our government's commitment to good, transparent governance is in the global community. And they have shown the same appreciation for the concrete programs and results we have brought about in our administration. The situation we have in the Philippines has indeed changed so much. We are finally shedding the stigma of a directionless country, and we are finally reclaiming our national dignity. Through these developments, the world can clearly see the positive results of treading the straight and narrow path. Where exactly has this straight and narrow path brought us? I hope if you don't take it against me, if I take this opportunity to revel a bit in the amount of good work we have done. Normally, and usually, this is something I leave to my spokesman, Edwin Lacerda, but let me try to do this time. After all, we know how hard it is to be separated from families, and it seems just right that we give you an idea of the positive things that are going on in our beloved homeland. To those who haven't gone on vacation in a while, you might remember the days when our government was reeling from piles upon piles of debt. Now, the situation, in a sense, has been reversed. Our budget secretary is actually scratching his head, wondering how we can spend the extra money we have. After all, we recognize I will admit, like you, I didn't think we'd ever hear Philippine budget and surplus spoken in the same sentence. But we do have had months where we had substantial surpluses. We have, after all, we recognize that in a responsible and transparent manner, we have to spend. If we have, if we don't spend, we will delay the growth of our various sectors. Perhaps this is a better problem than having our people's money lost in the deep pockets of corrupt government officials. The moment we were put into office by the people, we quickly focused on the problems besetting our nation. Amongst them, the problem of being short 66,000 classrooms. One can only imagine the millions of children who are deprived of educations because of this single issue. What future are we giving these children if we leave them to attend ghost schools, employing ghost teachers, and have them walk ghost bridges going home? What fruit can we expect of our future if we're unwilling to plant the seeds now? On the straight and narrow path, we are changing the way education is done for those who will come after us. We are hopeful that by the end of this year, 2011, we will have built 11,000 classrooms. What's more, because of the public-private partnership program, it may be possible for the Department of Education to add 45,000 classrooms to this count before the end of 2012. In short, within a span of 2 years, we may be able to build the 66,000 classrooms our students and teachers need and ensure that they receive quality education in quality schools, and all without having to raise new taxes. Now let's talk about rice. Before my term in 2010, the country imported 2.3 million metric tons of rice, and in certain years, we were the largest rice importer. The country that produced UP Los Baños and the International Rice Research Institute did not adhere to the lessons they imparted on others and was reduced to being the biggest importer of rice. The true amount that we needed in 2010 was 1.3 million metric tons, but we imported 2.3 million tons. Somehow the math does not compute. And yet they insisted on ordering more than what was needed by million tons. Worse, because of the amount of rice that was imported, the government even had to shoulder additional storage costs, further eating into the public throat. Now, however, the 1.3 million metric tons that our country was taught once to have to import yearly has almost been halved. We need only 660,000 metric tons now, roughly about a year after taking office. And we ordered an excess of 200,000 metric tons as a guard from natural calamities. But the best news is this. According to the calculations of Agricultural Secretary Proceso Alcala, we may achieve self-sufficiency by 2013. We will no longer need to import rice, and if we're lucky, we may even find ourselves exporting rice to our other neighboring countries. How was this achieved? Adhering to the straight and righteous path gave our farmers seeds that were real and not fake, gave them inputs appropriate to their crops, helped them with their marketing, helped them with their post-harvest facilities, encouraged them to do better, and they did do better. We have had 3 quarters of bumper harvest this year. The fourth should have been of the same genre. Unfortunately, typhoons decided to pass by and stay in our country one after the other. Our Pantawid Pamilyang Filipino program has also been doing remarkably well. This is a conditional cash transfer program where we seek to address the situation that at least about half of our country's youth, upon reaching graduating grade school, going into high school, drop out from school. We have a conditional cash transfer program that basically says keep your children in school, have them inoculated against the 5 preventable diseases, have the expectant mothers submit to regular checkups, and the government will be giving you a stipend as an incentive and as an assistance for you to be able to send your children to school. When we were put into office, this program had less than 800,000 beneficiaries. But just this September, after a little more than a year, we have registered 2.23 million family beneficiaries. And we are positive that we will reach our target of 2.3 million family beneficiaries by the end of this year, and to which we will add a further 700,000 families by 2012. And hopefully by 2014, the entire 4.6 million families living below the poverty line will be beneficiaries of this program. As I stated, the conditions for this program are simple. Keep your kids in school, get your children vaccinated, have the pregnant go to regular checkups, and in exchange, the government gives you a cash grant every month. Our subsidized health insurance has also been improving because of our rejuvenated PhilHealth program. According to the Department of Health, under the leadership of Secretary Ona, 5.2 million families are now enrolled in PhilHealth-sponsored programs. Truly, in the straight and narrow path, no one is left behind. We will help keep our kids in school and keep our populace healthy. This is the true investment for the future. But we must remember that all these improvements are not the work of one person. We achieve this because millions of Filipinos from all corners of the globe are ready to turn their backs on the way things used to be, to turn their backs on the system that once forced us into negativism and defeatism, and start showing the world that it isn't in our blood to allow crooked governance to shackle us. More than the remittances you send home to the ones you love, and more than the positive effect you have on the economy, time and again, you show the world the capacity of the Filipinos to hold strong in times of difficulty and calamity. And for this, you have our eternal gratitude. We are a country with more than 7,000 islands that speaks in more or less 200 dialects, and the variety and richness of our culture is undeniable. But be you Kapampangan or Cebuano, Ibanag or Ilocano, wherever you may be in the world, we are bound together by our history. We are united by our origins. The blood flowing through our veins, and yours, is the blood of heroes. Hard-working, intelligent, kind to one's fellow man, nationalistic, and if needed, ready to contribute to true, genuine, and lasting change. Walk alongside me and let us clear whatever obstacles they may be. Let us show the world the true force behind Bayanihan. One country treading the path as one country. Let us work toward the fulfillment of our shared hopes. And before I end, and I ask for your indulgence, I will have to go back home. Our plane hopefully is still at Hicam Air Force Base. But let me just say this now. It really warms my heart to see you all united tonight, and thank you for this dinner that you rendered in my honor. Not because you rendered it in my honor, but rather that you are together, you are united, you are belying the claim that Filipinos, there's a joke when I used to live in Boston. There was a joke that said something like this: for every 2 Filipinos in California, there are 5 organizations. Therefore, I'm sure seeing you all together here, united, shows me that there is nothing that is impossible. Every obstacle we will overcome because we are united. Thank you. Good evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the Republic of the Philippines, His Excellency Benigno S. Aquino III.